Eventually it's your turn, you go to a booth. Sometimes it's a booth where you walk in, you pull a curtain behind. Sometimes it's just a thing where there are like walls dividing you from the person next to you. And what you are going to do is there's a piece of paper in front of you. A lot of places still do them on paper. We've had some states and counties move over to electronic systems, but those tend to be, you can mess with an electronic system easier than you can with paper. Or at least it's harder to catch the people who mess with them because they can do it from a computer somewhere far away. So, you go in, that little piece of paper in front of you lists everyone who's running. You check off who you want, you turn it in. That's your ballot. In the South, during the election of 1860, Lincoln did not appear on many of the ballots, meaning he wasn't even an option for a lot of Southerners. They didn't think he was actually running. All right? Now, that still happens today. We've never had someone win that way. I think Lincoln was the last president to win without being on every ballot. But we do have people who run for president who don't appear on all the ballots. And typically that's because they're running for small political parties like the Green Party. And if the Green Party doesn't exist in Kansas, then the Green Party candidate isn't going to be on the Kansas ballot. Kind of like that. All right? Lincoln does win, though, because he wins the entire North. And because he wins the entire North, he gets almost all of the Electoral College votes. So even if the South had him on the ballot and still hadn't voted for him, he still would have won. But the fact that he didn't even appear there, and then Southern states are told that, hey, this guy you didn't even know was running is now going to be president, how do you think that would make you feel as a state?
Cheated.
Yeah, it makes you feel cheated. All right, my federal government clearly doesn't care what I think anymore. Clearly doesn't care who I vote for. They're not even counting my votes. They chose this guy that wasn't even on the ballot. All right, and so Lincoln's elected in 1860. By 1861, when he's actually entered into office, 7 states will have already seceded. So the South is convinced that the federal government doesn't care for them anymore. Isn't looking out for their interests anymore. All right. Now, let's pause for a minute. Talk about Lincoln. He died when he was very young, so it was only him, his father, and his brother. Lincoln didn't care very much for his father. He wasn't, just didn't particularly like him. So as soon as he can afford to get out of the house, he does. He's going to work on a raft ferrying goods up and down the Mississippi. Can you guys imagine that? I mean, like, law is complicated. Let's say that you just decide that you're going to study how to build a computer. Like, you do the research, you buy the parts, you figure it out, but you do it all on your own. No one's there to explain it to you. You behind him. And it wasn't consistent. Like I said before, he probably attended a few months of first grade, then he's pulled out because they move. Maybe he'll go back in 3rd grade to attend a few months, but he gets pulled out again. Like, he wasn't represent Illinois in the U.S. House of Representatives. He's officially a Whig, and then when the Whig Party dissolves, he becomes a Republican. So that's Lincoln. Right? He is by far our tallest.
He was 7 foot. 7 feet.
Abraham Lincoln, 6'4". It's actually that doesn't feel that tall. Soft-spoken guy, but he was a very good speaker. He was a very good orator. He could really move people, and of course he walked around. He always had that top hat on. So he added. You're 6'5". All right, well then you're taller than Abraham Lincoln, but. Is anybody else in here 6'5"? Brian, put your hand up. How tall are you?
6'4".
This doesn't work because I have my 2 tallest students that I've ever had in the same room. Alright? By far, everyone else. No. Alright,
I am.
Let me just to prove that to you. Female is 5'4", the average height of the American male is 5'7".
I'm 6 foot.
The average height.
Why do you break up?
Pass it over. So, that's Abraham Lincoln. Now, I told you this before.